All right, welcome to the Novi Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Jessi, your host, and today we have a really interesting person. His name is Sid. We might get a little bit controversial, but that's okay. So let's go straight into it. Sid, welcome. How do you want me to address you? Just Sid or?
Sid is fine. Sidney May is my name.
Gotcha.
Sid is fine.
All right, cool. Well, first of all, I know we both I guess we kind of like found each other through the calisthenics community.
Yes.
And that's something that we're going to be talking about today. But first things first, I want to start off with your origin story and basically how you probably started with calisthenics and what led you to that, I guess, community.
Okay, so I've been doing calisthenics for about 17 months now, approximately. I started calisthenics after I went through a vaccine injury. I know some people out there are like, what do you mean by vaccine injury? So we're in 2004, 24, 23. Back in 2023, I received the Moderna vaccination around, I would say, February, March, April. I got two shots, and then I got bit by a dog about 3-4 months later, and I received a tetanus shot vaccination.
Yeah.
So after that tetanus shot, around November, I started, actually 3 days after the tetanus shot, I started receiving these headaches. The headaches progressed every day to where my vision started to dissipate. So I was losing vision within the center of my, my vision until December, around Christmas time. I went completely blind. I ended up being in the hospital for about 30 days, all the way up to January 1st.
So you couldn't see at all?
I couldn't see at all.
Did you see blank or
how my vision was picture the analog TVs, when you change the channel to a channel that has no station, and it was like the
static?
black and white static.
Okay,
that is exactly how my vision was. It was like I could only see maybe on the outer portion of
the peripheral.
Yeah, the peripheral, but it was just completely black and like white dots. I couldn't see anything. It was like digitized. It was weird. So
how'd you feel? I
felt,
bet you were a little scared.
Yeah, I felt helpless. I couldn't drive. I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't even work. And my business requires me to be on the computer because I have a intelligence gathering company, private investigations, and electronic surveillance products that we sell. And if I can't see, then I'm basically out of commission.
Right.
Yeah. So I had that injury. I got healed by the doctors, thankfully. And then 2 months later, I relapsed and I went blind again. And I was blind for 25 to 28 days. And at that point, I was on 5 different medications. They said I was going to be on it for the rest of my life. So at that point, I didn't want to accept it because when I was on the meds, I was getting bigger, fatter. I was gaining weight.
Yeah.
I was always fatigued. I was just helpless, and I didn't like that feeling. So I decided with myself that, hey, I don't want to take any of these pills anymore. I don't believe what the doctors are telling me. There has to be something I have to do with my health. So I started eating right, cleaning up my diet, and then I was looking into working out like bodybuilding, but I didn't really like the monotonous lifting weights, isolating one. So I looked into calisthenics, and I was like, this is pretty cool. I mean, body weight and the athletes are ripped and everything. So let me get into that. So I got into that, and from there, it took off. I went to Ep.5 Park by myself, met a few people, and then that's when I started meeting people like you and other people. And
man, so I mean, that was a lot. Starting from the first thing that you said. So do you know if it was a tetanus shot or was it the vaccine, or did they not say what it was that caused the blindness?
So the doctors legally could not tell me that it was the vaccinations, right?
Sure.
But they had a lot of cases. Even me at the second relapse I had, they had a lot of individuals on the same floor in the hospital that actually were having nerve issues due to the COVID vaccines. I'm not going to say that the COVID vaccine caused it. I would have to say that maybe mixing, which I call it a cocktail, mixing the COVID vaccine and the tetanus shot is what triggered it.
Sure.
Because it was within like a 6-month period that I took both vaccines. And when I got the tetanus shot, they didn't ask me if, hey, did you take the COVID vaccine within this time period or anything? And plus, the COVID vaccines were fairly new. Nobody knew anything about it. It was like a test, right? So I can't really say if it was the COVID vaccination, but from what we're seeing now, or for what happened to a lot of people that have been taking it, it could have been the catalyst to leading me to being blind. So
I do know that there's quite a few injuries that have been documented, but not really publicly shown.
Correct.
Right? I'm sure like maybe your case hasn't been. That's kind of why I wanted to get you on too, because I mean, like nobody's gonna, unless like we bring you on, whether that's a podcast or whatever, nobody's gonna really know your story behind what happened or what's going on. So do you know, so after that, that's one of the reasons why actually last podcast I had someone and we were talking about integrative health practitioners and how whenever you take any pharmaceuticals, they're always gonna have some kind of side effect. And so I know you were having different side effects from the pills that you were taking or the medicine that you were taking for the blindness. So do you know how the blindness got cured or what happened there? Okay,
so what I was diagnosed with was NMSOD. So it was neuromyelitis optical syndrome disorder. It's similar to MS, multiple sclerosis, if I pronounced that right. Don't get on me about that. So what was occurring is that my optical nerve was producing this the antibodies that was attacking my nerve. So it was damaging the nerve and it was hindering me from seeing. What was your question? I'm sorry.
So I guess like what was the thing that cured the blindness?
So what cured me was I was going through, they were giving me a lot of steroids and I was going through like a blood transfusion treatment.
Yeah.
They had a catheter that was going through to my heart and they were cleaning my blood, like taking out the blood, taking out the antibodies.
Putting it back in.
But without the antibodies. I went through like 6 sessions of that over a 3-week span with the steroids, and that allowed my vision to come back. And they didn't even know if that was going to work. They thought I had the disorder, and they were treating me based on the disorder and not anything else. So luckily, I got my vision back. And then when I relapsed, they did the same thing again, but I had like 7-8 more treatments. Yeah. And I got my vision back from that. So that's how I was cured. Yeah.
So like throughout that time, like, I mean, did they say that you were possibly going to be blind for the rest of your life? Or how'd you feel? Like,
no, they said that I would probably have the relapse again and again if I didn't take the medications that were given to me.
Do you still take a medication?
Nope. The second time that I relapsed, I was taking the medication for like 3 months, and I was getting big, and I was tired, and I said, no, I'm done. I can't live like this. I don't remember what the med was. One of the medications actually was deteriorating my immune system, and they told me that I was more prone to getting sick now.
Yeah.
By taking that med.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't.
Yeah, with these pharmaceuticals, I mean, obviously they even say themselves that there are going to be some kind of side effects, and there always is. Mm-hmm. And so I do want to get into how the different lifestyle you're living now, because I do see that you're doing things different as far as like dieting and things like that. But quickly, I did want to go into the calisthenics part because, I mean, that's something that we both do. So whenever you started doing calisthenics, well, first of all, what would you say is the difference between a workout, say at the gym, and then calisthenics?
So working out at the gym, I would say is more so isolated.
Yeah, like isolation movements, whether that's curls.
Movements, and it's very monotonous. Just you're on the wire. Versus calisthenics is more so a full body workout. more calisthenic athletes, such as myself, we kind of are more focused on the upper body, but there's some, some lower body workouts that we accommodate for ourselves. But I would say calisthenics is more full body. You're going to be sore almost every day after a workout versus in the gym. You're working on one spot and then you're sore like in that one area 2 days later or whatnot. You don't really feel the whole body. I would say calisthenics is functional. Yeah, in my opinion,
that's something that I've noticed. Well, calisthenics itself right now, around this time frame, 2023-4, is becoming a little bit more, I guess, mainstream. Whether that's because of influencers or whatnot, but I do, like you said, it is functional. So a lot of the movements, a lot of the workouts, like you said, are functional, and the reason why is because we are a little bit more conscious of the movements that we do. We don't just do a curl because, I guess you can look at it as, what is the goal of a bodybuilder and what is the goal of a calisthenics athlete? The goal of a bodybuilder is just to go in front of a stage and have your muscles look as big as they can to what you can. And that's mainly one of the reasons why I would say it's a little bit detrimental, because if your goal is to have the biggest muscles that you can, then you're prone to take whether that's steroids or some kind of performance enhancing drug, where in contrast, a calisthenic athlete is looking for more functional movement to be able to move a certain way. I'm a little bit more, so I'm a dancer and I do parkour. So my main focus is more how can I train to move more functionally, to move better, so that I can get, whether that's from point A to point B, or just be able to, have longevity, to be able to, squat down in the future, pick up my kids, or play with my kids in the future,
Better mobility.
Exactly. Mobility. So that's what I say. What is the end goal of these athletes? Now, the other podcast I did kind of, I wouldn't say I called them out, but I did say that bodybuilding is a little bit more detrimental, or just, what did I say? I said, we're starting to see that bodybuilding is not a healthy practice than what we used to think. And I still agree with that. And
especially if you're trying to lift the heaviest weight.
True.
I've noticed you bodybuilders, you always want to lift the heaviest weight, as if you're going to pick up a tank or something. You're not going to pick up a tank ever. Okay.
Right. So I did get a little bit of backlash from that, which is totally fine. I'm totally open for debate. As far as like which one's best. I'm not trying to say like you should give up on bodybuilding and go to calisthenics. No. I always say it's always, if you can start with calisthenics and then move on to lifting weight, that's totally fine, because maybe your goal is to be on stage and to be judged as far as like how you look and how you can pose. But yeah, I would say those are like the main two differences between like a bodybuilder and calisthenic athlete. But so how was your process from whenever you switched or you moved from whatever workout that you were doing to calisthenics?
I would say I was getting tired. Not tired, but I was sore every day. But my body definition improved quickly when I got into calisthenics. I would say I saw results within 3 to 6 months. Even my peers or the people that I was working out with, or my family members, they were like, "Golly, what are you doing? You're ripped." Like, what are you doing? I said, "I'm just doing pull-ups, push-ups, dips. That's it. Crunches on hanging crunches, and that's it. Simple, but highly effective. And I just felt better. And then with calisthenics, you kind of veer off into some other functional fitnesses. Like now I'm more into yoga. And I thought yoga, I don't know if yoga people are athletes or whatever. I'm going to call y'all athletes, because I tried yoga before calisthenics. That was so hard. That was very hard. And now I respect it, because I think with calisthenics, I think it's more masculine, or as far as energy wise. And I think yoga is more feminine. And I think it needs to go hand in hand, so that you have the mobility in calisthenics and then the I would say flexibility in yoga. So it goes hand in hand. So I'm into yoga now as well, so that I can increase my skill level, so that I can do certain skills in calisthenics that I can't do if I'm not as flexible. So
yeah, and in yoga, I do believe. I mean, you're doing isometric holds for a long time. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Pilates. I mean, I think Pilates is a little bit more intense than yoga, just because you're holding certain positions. Like I said, isometric hold. We do the same thing in calisthenics. Whether that's like a back lever or a front lever, it's an isometric hold that you're trying to hold. And that in itself, I mean, whether you're going down eccentrically to a position, what that means is doing the negative, right? Mm-hmm. So if you imagine you're doing a push-up and you're going down, that's working the eccentric motion or the negative, right? Mm-hmm. And so whenever you hold that position, that's a lot of time under tension, especially if you're going slow or you're holding the bottom position. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the reasons why we are a little bit more conscious. When I say we, the calisthenics athletes, we're a little bit more conscious when it comes to how we're moving and what it is that we're doing.
Yeah, stricter on form.
Exactly. Not only form, but all other aspects of, like you said, flexibility, stability. We do a lot of stability when it comes to like rings and things like that.
Yes.
So a lot of our joints are a little bit more, how would you say, stable because of that.
Yeah, I've noticed that my joints are tougher. If that's a good word to use. Yeah. So
and so I just wanted to differentiate, and I mean I can go on as far as like the difference between these kind of athletes. Mm-hmm. I do like to, like I said, I'm into dance, I'm into parkour, I've done yoga, I've done Pilates, and so I really love to try all these different kinds of workout modalities, because I mean, one, you're working on different aspects of what your body can do. Mm-hmm. But I will say that calisthenics can and should be the foundation of a lot of your movement. Mm-hmm. If you start with calisthenics, like you said, it's simple: push-ups, pull-ups. I mean, you might not think that a pull-up requires a lot, but you actually need a lot of mind-body awareness to do a pull-up, so that you're not pulling up from the shoulders, but you're actually doing like a full retraction, and then going up and then going down.
Correct.
So just moving on, whenever you said that you were in the process of going from the medication that you were taking to this new lifestyle, whether that's dieting, how was that process, and how did you know what you were gonna take, what you were gonna eat, and how you're gonna do that?
Okay, so I was a vegetarian, so I'm 36 now. I was a vegetarian from 17 to 27. So I kind of already knew what I was supposed to eat, because I was making my own meals and really researching what would benefit my body as far as health. So when I was transitioning, or when I was trying to be more health conscious after getting off the pills, I already kind of knew what to eat. I kind of cut, I cut sugars out of my diet. I cut seed oils out of my diet. I cut a lot of fatty foods out of my diet, because I didn't want anything to trigger the optical nerve from inflaming again. So I just went on more like lean meats, rice. I can't give up rice. Rice, a lot of fruits, and a lot of vegetables. I eat a ton of that. If people that follow me on Instagram, they know I'm a watermelon, strawberry fiend. So I just kept it simple, man. I kind of thought of like, what did our ancestors eat? I mean, fruits, veggies, and meats. So I just kept to that diet, and ever since then, I've been good, lean, good.
Usually whenever you go to whenever people say like, what did our ancestors eat? I mean, you're always going to go, whether that's the paleo or the Weston Price diet, which is, I mean, basically, like you said, like things that you don't usually cook. Obviously, you're going to cook some things, but like you said, like legumes, vegetables, and meats, kind of like carbs.
Yeah,
simple carbs. complex carbs. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Because some people are confused about carbs. They say, no carbs. I'm like, what carbs are you talking about? But okay. Yeah. Yeah.
No, yeah. But like I said, last time we did have a podcast on the integrative health practitioners. I don't know. Have you ever taken any tests, whether that's like a hormone test or an allergenic test? Because there's a difference between an AGE and an AGG reaction. You might have had some kind of what we call AGE reaction, which is like a big reaction, or it's kind of like someone who is allergic to peanuts and they eat a peanut. An AGG reaction is whenever you say like you don't know, but you might be allergic to say green beans, and then you eat that, and then 2 or 3 days later you start getting rashes or you start getting some kind of like gut irritation, and you don't know what it is, but that's because you don't know that your body is irritant to certain foods.
Honestly, no, I haven't. I have a friend. He's a functional doctor, and he's recommended me to take a test, but I haven't, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're functional medicine doctors. I would call it a doctor. We're just functional medicine practitioners. We use functional medicine as well as Ayurvedic practices and ancient Chinese practices to integrate what we call new health with old health. Like I said, Ayurvedic is the Indian practice, the Indian and Chinese practice, and then the functional medicine is using new technology with the tests and all, like pricking your finger, getting those blood tests, sending them, getting them back, and seeing how your hormones are. Just different tests, yeah. And I always tell people that whenever you don't know what's going on with your body, I always suggest them to do that. Whether that's a functional medicine practitioner or what not,
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, because my sister's taken that test as well because she had some skin issues. So yeah, they checked her gut and stuff.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So now, like, have you had any problems or anything going on with like vision and stuff like that, or has it been straight?
Not really. I know I have like 3 to 5% damage in my eyesight, like right here. Like if I look a certain, it's like I can't. Like if I go like this and I try to read the books that are behind you, I know from a certain distance I cannot read those words at all. It's like
so. It was actually your eye, like part of your eye was damaged.
Yeah, it's permanently damaged. But aside from that, I mean, I'm good. It's no relapses, no issues. I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't take the COVID vaccine, but I did get COVID, and I did lose my taste and smell, and I lost it for a few weeks. But it took me a long time, almost like till recently. So it almost took like 2 to 3 years to be able to get back all of the, I don't know how you call it, like palates or all the taste buds back. Because I remember certain foods just tasted different, or certain things tasted different, smelled different. An example is like peanut butter and chocolate. Like it just tasted weird. I couldn't taste it as I remembered it before. So that did take a while, but in your case, you say it's kind of like permanent damage that you got. Yeah.
It sucks too, but I mean, I got my other right eye, so that's why God gave us 2 eyes.
Sure.
Yep. So
cool. Well, I mean, first of all, I appreciate you sharing that. I know it might be a little bit controversial whenever you bring up just COVID and the vaccine.
It is. I remember at the beginning, when this occurred, a lot of people, I'm going to call them agents, were attacking me, saying that I was spreading misinformation and that I was an advocate to killing people. And I was like, what are you talking? I was blind. What are you talking about? I'm not making this up. I was in the hospital. So yeah, at the beginning, it was pretty hard because a lot of people were attacking me. Even my close friends that were like dear to my, like we're really compadres, right? We're just like, hey man, you're spreading misinformation. You want to help kill people and stuff like that, and tell people not to take the vaccine. What's wrong with you? And I was like, man, look. Honestly, I took the COVID vaccine as a test. Me and my friend were not, so I had COVID like probably 6-7 times. The last time I had it, I was in the hotel. We were traveling from Dallas to Florida. I don't remember what for, but we got terribly sick. I was in the hotel for like 4 or 5 days. I was coughing. I was going to die that day because it was so bad. I didn't go to the hospital. But after that moment, I told my friend, I said, hey, John, at the time, I was like, hey, I'm going to take the vaccine And he's like, I'm not taking it. I said, I'll be the guinea pig. I'll take the vaccine. Let's see what happens. Right? We're around the same age. You know, he's a Caucasian male. I'm an African American male. And I said, let's see what happens. And I regret that. I regret it. But hey, I'm here to tell the story because if I feel like if I didn't do that, and if I didn't get injured, the people close to me that I truly love wouldn't have known, and everybody that I know close to me would have gotten vaccinated because they were really pushing that stuff on us, man. But I
remember for me, I actually got fired because of not taking it.
Oh man,
yeah, I was working a job, and then I kept pushing it. I was like, I don't remember what I told my manager, but they kept saying like, hey, you need to go to what do they call it, like the main, like the corporation, the wherever the corporation, I don't know what it was, but they told me like I had to go, and I was like, I can't today. And I just kept pushing it back up until like the point that I was terminated from that job, which is fine. Like, I mean, at first there was a point where I thought about it because I was like, man, like this is like the main job that I have. I mean, I do have some ideas as far as like what I can do after if I do get fired, but it's still like, I can't imagine those people that, you know, not only do they live off of like their main thing, like the job that they have, but they have to provide for their family. Like I didn't have to provide for my family. I don't have a family yet, but it was just me. So I could have taken that risk because I kind of knew I had some ideas after as far as like what else I can do. But yeah, I can't imagine anybody else in that situation.
Yeah, it's crazy. And again, I took it by just voluntarily, right? I didn't have a job. I have my own business, so I didn't really have to take it for any reason. I was just doing a test, and that test I failed. But yeah, man.
Yeah. So I mean, again, appreciate you from sharing that. Going from, you know, I do think that now that you are a little bit more health conscious, I think that's one of the, if you want to call it benefits, you're more health conscious about the choices that you make as far as like what you put into your mouth, what you put into your body. Similarly, like when I was a kid, you know, I always got sick. And then whenever I made the diet change, as far as like me taking control of what I put into my body, that's whenever I started seeing like different results. And so I think everybody has their point of, you know, change as far as like when it comes to dieting. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm an integrative health practitioner, able to help anyone out in certain situations. So, I mean, you were able to go from that to where you are now. And now you're what, like, how would you say you are, like a calisthenic athlete or?
I would say athlete first, influencer second, because I think I've influenced over probably 200 people in connections, maybe directly 50 individuals, but I've noticed on my social media and in my personal life, physical life, people changing their diet and their I guess the way they work out. I don't know what you would call that. So I would say influencer to a degree.
Right.
So yeah. Athlete, then influencer.
Gotcha. So, I guess using that, whether that's your platform or the things that you do, I guess what do you have in store for the future, or again, using your platform or whatever it is that you're doing? Well,
so the main goal is to put Houston on the map for calisthenics, because we're not on the map. Cali, New York, Florida, we're coming for you. But after that, now getting to know individuals, I'm more so wanting people to eat right, because I'm seeing a lot of people eat dirty and they don't care about what they're eating. And then they're having all these health problems. And then they're saying, it's not what I'm eating. Yes, it is what you're eating. Like, for example, this specific girl that I know, she has an ulcer in her stomach. She drinks every weekend, 3 times a week, every weekend. And she says it's not the alcohol. Then what is it? What is it? So I just, man, you know, humans, I love humans. I love people, you know, whether I know you or don't know you. And I feel like, you know, we've been lied to about a lot of things. And I know it's hard to to give up something that tastes so good. Don't get me wrong. I like beer. I like alcohol. But if it's going to be detriment to my health, I'm giving it up.